and we saw sometimes just with Demi, and I'm not sort of pulling politics about. I'm just saying you need to see this. So if you get a piece of food out, a tiny piece of food, and do that, well, very early on the dog realises if you do that to it, you don't want it to have the food, and you're not going to give it the food. That signal that we do, yeah. So in a way, you do that with food in your hand, and you might as well keep it in your pocket or in the van because you said to the dog you're not getting it. So therefore that is now worthless because it says, well, it's not attainable by me no matter what I do because you're giving me this signal. If you have a tiny little bit of food in, the dog switches on and off, and especially if you've got a young dog. So when we produce something that is very visible, that the dog goes, wow, yeah. Now, it doesn't mean to say, and we wouldn't give that if we produce a big sausage to the dog. We can then take a tiny piece off it, but the visual aspect is still there. When we start to move it around and deny it at first, the dog then builds desire in it. When we start to hold it, so the dog we ask her to sit, and we take a piece off, and we go, wow, what a beautiful sit. And the dog's starting to salivate and go, yeah, I'm getting that. Can you see the value it goes up? From 10 pence, 20 pence, 50 pence, a pound, a fiver, a tenner, £50, yeah? That is motivation with food, yeah? When you throw two or three drops of food in a bowl, and the dog goes, ooh, bowl feed, and you start moving it around at home, maybe on grass or in the kitchen or something like that, and the dog's chasing it, we are starting to motivate food. If we just stand there. Years ago, Jen and myself ran 40 dog classes a week, and we used to do all clicker, and we used to do about 8 agility classes, and we used to do flyball classes and working trials classes and obedience classes. We used to do 9 puppy classes a week, so we've seen a lot of dogs over the years. And what you got is people went, okay, got the clicker, they'd go sit, click, treat, sit, click, treat, down, click, treat, you know, and it was monotonous, yeah. And if you've got a dog that's not stuffed full, or not really sort of dog that's not real picky eater, it will just keep eating them treats. It isn't motivation. If somebody does that, they are not training with food. They are giving the dog food while they're trying to get it to do something. That's not training with food. So food motivation, yeah. Toy motivation. If you produce a toy and the dog wants to get it, yeah, and I mean wants to get it wherever you are, and you pull it down and it gives it up freely because it understands some rules of the game and it'll allow you to play again, yeah, and when you let it go will want to bring the toy back at you and play again, then you have got play drive and play motivation. If you haven't, if the dog gets it, snatches it, wants to run off with it, snarls at it, won't let you back, or you chuck it down, yeah, and without pushing it into defence, yeah, so you just throw it down like that and, good lad, get it then, or good girl, get it then, and it goes, well, no, I'm not bothered actually, I want to go over there, and it goes in avoidance. Generally speaking, that will mean that you've put pressure on that toy, you've threatened it with that toy, yeah, and you can then only get a reaction when you go, get it then, down like this. And what happens is the dog reacts to the threat and grabs it before you use it as a weapon against it. Yeah? So that when we're working on things like this, and when we do courses and people want to go, well, I'm getting 6 foot on long jump and I want to get 8 foot and then build it on tonight. I want to get a bit better send away and I get all this. And the way that it breaks down again and again and again and again, because we've got no motivation and we've got dogs working in defence, yeah? So we've got Anthea's dog, for instance. So Anthea's dog is got quite a bit of defence in it, and it's quite reactive when you get a tuggy toy out and play and kick it in. And I believe that for the last probably, when was the last time I was at the KCs? It was 16, was it? 2016. So certainly for the last 2 years, I've been looking for something that isn't that I don't think anybody out there considered. I've gone through stages and worked with different people, training, not being instructed by them, but training, and found that they don't know it either, and they don't know it, and they don't know it. And one of the things that I've come across is that I haven't seen anybody on the internet yet. I've scoured the internet for it. I haven't seen any videos or anything. I don't think anybody in the world at this present time understands prey defence drives and stuff like that with a dog and what's going on. Yeah. So I'm not going to harp on too much about it, but dogs are put often in defence, and you get a reaction through the pressure you put on them. Not meaning there's no blame on anybody. I don't think anybody needs blaming. You don't understand what you're doing. You put that pressure on them, and when you take that pressure off, they go in avoidance. Yeah, it's not like when you're working on you see the horse whispers, put a little bit of pressure on. When the pressure's off, because they're a herd animal, they want to join. When you put a pressure on a dog, they do two things. They either move away in avoidance because they're a predator. Yeah, so when they're hunting and there's pressure on you get a pack of wolves and they're hunting something, a herd of something, and the herd start pushing together and kicking out and stuff like that. They move away. They're going avoidance. Yeah, or they're going harder into drive and kill one of them. Yeah. So I'm not suggesting your dogs will come and bite you, but maybe in some cases. But what happens is they go in, and so they grab hold of anything like the toy item, and they bite it down hard, and they pull it off you, and they pull hard, and they would take it away from you. That's what they do. Yeah, because they see it as a threat. So while we're going da 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 our dogs, and our dogs are reacting, there is a certain part of every dog that has hardwired in them that they want to hunt. They need to hunt. That is hardwired. They can't do anything else about that. That's how they get the food. You know, we've not bred that out of them. Yeah, some are wavering a bit, but we've not bred that out of them. And we don't need to. We don't want to breed that out of them, because that's what's going to make them work and do sports and service dogs and all sorts of things like that. So with that in mind, when you look at a horse that is hardwired to be in with the herd, because if it's not in with the herd, it's dangerous. Yeah, there's danger for it, because it will get picked on by a mountain lion or something like that. Everything, it's so dangerous out there on its own. Yeah, and when Monty Roberts sort of said, he watched him and he went, I can see what's happening now. It's not the stallion, it's the mare that's doing it, and she's pushing troubled young horses out, and making them stand out there on their own, and they feel vulnerable and scared, so that when the mare lets the horse back in, yeah, when it lets the horse back in, what happens is, that's what join up is. That's what the horse whispers call join up, and it joins up, but it conforms. Yeah, so when you get somebody like Monty and he pushes a horse out and pushes it out, when he lets it in, it conforms, because it really wants to do that. Yeah, that is a prey animal. That's not going to work. What you do is, when you push out by negative, yeah, and try and get the dog playing hard, but it really puts it in a threat, it will want to go out. It's an opposite. It is a predator, not a prey animal. Or it will want to come in and fight. It will fight flight. Yeah, that's what it wants to do. That's what it's going to be hardwired to do. So what we've got to do is go, yes, okay, that's going to come in. So that's going to come in with some defence in it. And what we've got to do, if we've got dogs that are anxious and uptight, we've got to bring that drive up, but weed that defence out. So yesterday, you saw Sue with the dog, got a bit of defence in it, well, quite a lot of defence in as a dog, and it went bang on dumbbell, because you put something like that in front of it and it just goes, it doesn't think, it works on impulse. It goes automatic, it's a threat, bang, and deals with the threat. So what I started to get to do is to relax the dog and talk calm to it, say, no, you can't do that, and stopped it going on to the next part of the behaviour. The next bit of the behaviour. Because it was stalk, if you like, bite. There was no chase because it was in front of it, yeah? It's a very basic predatory behaviour. So we put the dumbbell down, and it went, I'll get it, and she went, no, I don't want you to go. No, sit, no. All right, sit. So we kept asking it to sit and leave the dumbbell, yeah, then down, and it was, no, I don't want you to get the dumbbell. So it had to take Sue's command, so it had to, instead of acting on impulse, act on audio and thought process, yeah. It lied down there, and then she was calm, and she went, no, lie down, and she asked it to hold. But by this time it was so calm and it was so out of defence drive, it was almost laid in neutral, and it had not enough drive to pick the dumbbell up. So she went, yeah, dumbbell, and just that turn to it, it went, oh yeah, that's a little clue, and actually that movement's put a bit of excitement in. And then it laid down again, and it started, Jen was talking over there to one or two of you, and it went, well, I'll just check on the environment, and I haven't got enough drive to put attention on this. So I just got her to, hey, what's this, with a dumbbell? Hey, what's this? And you could see it work. But although it brought up a bit of drive, and that will have brought up a bit of defence again, but she was very careful and did it for so long, and then went, what's this? Put it down, yeah, hold it, and it went, because it had enough drive in. But you could just see there was only bits of defence in, because it was like, it was a little bit fast. And as she did it more, and she brought it up and down when she realised there was no driving, or when I told her there was no driving, and put a bit of drive in, we almost brought the dog back to us, and in the end, and some of you saw it, I know Demi saw it, it was like lie down, you go, hold it, and it was a thoughtful process, a dog that looked smart, it looked keen, it looked alert, but it wasn't over excessive, yeah, is over excessive, yeah, and that's what we do a lot when we play. Do you want it? Get it in, come on in, bent double, yeah, right in the dog's face, yeah. So I just wanted to sort of get through to you that I'm not condemning anybody's dog for having defence in it, yeah, because there's times that mine has, but you have to learn to deal with it. And actually, your biggest problem is, you think at the moment when you're trying to do working trials, is train the exercises, and actually the secret is they're easy, yeah. Now other trainers don't like you saying that. When Jen used to run 40 classes a week, we had a couple of trainers on for us. One very, very good trainer, yeah, and called John, that some of you have met. And I used to say, training dogs is easy. It's getting their head right. And at first he used to go, and I said, no, Johnny, you can learn from a book, tricks, methods, be slick. You can learn from experience. All of you've got experience of training dogs, and you've all learnt a thing, and you've all got a bit in your toolkit here and there, yeah. You've done that. That's your experience, yeah. That will help you train dogs. But what you do is you keep trying to train dogs where the head and the drives are in the wrong place, and that's what you come against. That's why, yeah, because you've got knowledge of training dogs, you have a success, but it's always limited. It's always going to be limited, because you're always fighting against. This is a bit doom and gloom for Demi and her pup, because I think you're only limited if you let yourself be, because I think you've got fantastic material there. But as you saw yesterday, soon as the drive come up, you saw a little bit of grab, yeah. I want it, I want it, so therefore I'm going to use a little bit of defence to get it. I'm going to a little bit assertiveness and a little bit of push to get it, an impulse, because the drive of the big piece of sausage drove the dog up, and I went, no. And what people usually do is, no, like that, and all of a sudden you've started on the path of that drive rearing its head, and you're turning it into defence, because The drive's up, and at that moment in time, that drive didn't know where it was going. And the minute if I'd have pulled away and started leaning over and oh no, and having a little bit of a moan at it, I would have pushed that drive into defence. Yeah, that's where it starts. Yeah, and I went, no, and the dog went, well, the food's still there. He's not getting it. He's not being iffy with me. He's not having a moan at me, so I'll stay with him. I wonder if I try something else. Cognitive thought. Drive in there for it to try something else. It had to have driving to do that, and all of a sudden it did that and it got rewarded. That's what you do. Yeah, and that's really the story. You can all go home now. Right.